Alright guys, so what I've got for you today is the Saramonic RX and TX10 UHF wireless transmitting system. This is a sub $300 wireless transmitting setup that seems really affordable with the all-metal housing and a lot of other features that make it a pretty interesting proposition. I'm taking a look at this today because it is such an affordable unit with such a decent spec sheet that it seems like it could be a reasonable competitor to things like the Sennheiser G3 and G2 units that I normally use. But before we dig in deep into the specs, let's take a closer look at what comes in the box. All right, so what we have here is the Saramonic RX and TX10 wireless transmitter system. This is in the UwMic10 lineup. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Inside the box, we have the transmitter, dual channel receiver, XLR to 3.5mm adapter, rather large lav mic, a cold shoe adapter for the receiver, a 3.5mm to 3.5mm with a Sennheiser style twist on. The interesting thing about the Saramonic setup is that the receiver is capable of receiving two channels simultaneously. If you take a look at that, that's why it has two antennas. On the top we have an output for your camera as well as headphone monitoring, which allows you to hear the audio that's coming out of this if you don't have a headphone monitoring port on your camera. As far as the cold shoe adapter goes, this is pretty standard, works very similar to what you get from Sennheiser. It slides on like so, clips on the back, and gives you a nice place to mount this on your camera. All right guys, so I'm out here on a soccer field to test the transmitting distance of the Saramonic RX and TX10 system. There are three settings on the RX10, and that's a low, medium, and high for transmitting strength. I've got this set to the highest setting, and I'm gonna try and walk across this 360-foot field and see where the signal drops out. I'll go a few steps, do a test, continue that until I get to the end of the field, and check the video and audio in post to see how far I actually made it. Hopefully this makes it across the entire field. UHF tends to be strong when it's line of sight, so we'll see how far I can get before this drops out. All right, here we are at about 120 feet from the receiver. Got the lav pack attached to the front of me here, so it is on the camera side of me, and hopefully audio is coming through clearly. All right, now I'm at 240 feet, almost all the way across the soccer field. I don't know if audio is coming through or not, but I'm gonna continue to record this and I will check to see how it turns out when I get back. All right, and this is about 400 feet. Probably can't even see me on camera right now, but that is the complete distance of this track with the soccer field included. And I have no idea if audio is getting back to the camera, but it'll be interesting to find out if I made it this far. Besides the fact that you can use this as a wireless system for filmmakers, it also offers up a really interesting feature, and that's the fact that the receiver is capable of capturing two channels simultaneously. That means I can record with this lav mic right now that I'm using, or I could use this handheld microphone, and either one of those will provide audio back to the camera. As you probably noticed from that last demonstration, the audio coming in got kind of weird when I had two devices feeding the receiver simultaneously, and that's because each device, if you look right here, the Saramonic is taking in just the A channel right now, and it is putting that out to my Zoom H4n on both the left and the right channel. It does that for both incoming signals. Because of that, if you have the mics too close together, you'll get the effect that I just demonstrated in the previous clip. This is kind of frustrating, and I've talked to Saramonic. Hopefully we can see some sort of selection in the menu in the future that allows you to have stereo separation between the A and the B channel coming into the receiver. For now, make sure you keep your microphones far enough apart that you don't get that wave cancellation sound that you heard in the previous clip. All right, so what I've got here is the Saramonic HU10. This is a handheld style microphone for use with the UwMic10 system. Right now I'm using this on channel B with the RX10 wireless receiver unit, and this is of course is good for interviews and things like that where you need to hand the microphone off to someone else you're talking to while keeping a lav on yourself. So I just finished reviewing the audio from this HU10 microphone. Not super impressed with the audio quality. It's pretty muffled sounding, and you really have to kind of get it close to your mouth in order to get it to pick up well. Not my favorite installment in the UwMic10 lineup, but take a listen to the audio and decide if you like it or not. it is competitive with any of the other low budget handheld microphones that are out on the market. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. After using the Saramonic RX10 and TX10 system with the UwMic10 lav mic that's included with the kit, I can tell you the mic isn't bad actually. It's a little bit on the big side. Audio quality is a little bassier than I prefer, but otherwise it's completely usable for a kit lav mic. Would I recommend upgrading it? Probably. Right now I'm using the RX and TX10 with the Apsen lav mic. This isn't the most amazing mic in the lower price market range, but it runs about $35 to $40. Pretty decent mic overall. You might also want to check out the JK mic offerings on both Amazon and eBay. Those are also very decent lav mics for the price range. Just remember you need a 3.5 millimeter microphone for this kit. Also, I've tried this out with my ME2 Sennheiser mics, and I don't believe that it provides the input power required for those particular lav mics. So keep that in mind if you're on the hunt for a lav mic for this kit. On the positive side of things, the Saramonic UwMic10 system offers up a lot of bang for the buck. At $270, you're getting a really solid metal case, great transmitting distance, on-screen meters for your receiver, which isn't there on a lot of the cheaper sub $200 to $250 units out there. And on top of that, a pretty decent microphone system for the price. Also, there's a great upgrade path with this because the receiver is capable of receiving up to 2 transmitters simultaneously. You can combine this with a $130 to $150 purchase, and now you have 2 transmitters and a single receiver pack for your camera. That's a great upgrade path and a great value. On the downside, the UwMic10 system is pretty hard on batteries. So if you're using standard off-the-shelf batteries that aren't rechargeable or aren't high amp hour rating, you're going to get maybe an hour max out of these on the transmitter receiver. I recommend using either Envelope or one of the Power Extreme batteries that have a higher milliamp hour rating. Those are giving me about 2 hours of operation out of these, and on the plus side, they are rechargeable. The IR system for programming the transmitter on the UwMic10 system is a little bit convoluted, and I wish there were an easy way to do that in the menu, but still for the price, that isn't really that big of a problem. Also, speaking of which, the menu systems are a little bit convoluted on this, so you will have to kind of dig through a few things to figure out how to set stuff up. The biggest downside I see to the Saramonic RX and TX10 system is actually that it's transmitting in the 600 megahertz band. That band is up for auction and is kind of in that gray area where it could disappear in the future. So if you invest a bunch of money in your wireless kit, it might not be workable in the next year or two. That's been up in the air, and they were promising to sell that off this year. It looks like they're not going to sell that off until next year. So keep an eye out for FCC rulings on the 600 megahertz band, and be cautious of that if you're going to make a very heavy investment in wireless transmitting systems. I did speak with Saramonic on that subject, and they told me that they were going to be releasing other frequencies for the Saramonic UwMic10 system, so look for those in the future as well. As usual, you can find out more about the Saramonic RX and TX10 by following some of the links in the crotch bar below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and if you like this content, you should do one of these right here. Didn't think I was going to do it, did you? Yeah, I didn't either.